I'm continuing my series of MASH retro reviews with Season 2, Episode 8, The Trial of Henry Blake. So the premise of this episode is that Henry is put on trial, a preliminary hearing for a court-martial, to see if he's basically fit to command and if the charges put forward by Frank and Margaret actually will stick, or do they have merit. And the charges are basically unfit for command, all that, things like, allowing Klingon, a transvestite, to be around the camp. Klingon is just doing that to get out of the army. Everyone knows that. That's literally his bit. And everyone just accepts that he's doing it, but because he does his job, they don't care. They have, gurney races, and all that. And again, one of Frank Henry's defense is that, hey, it's a morale building thing, which is, building morale, but there's a more serious charge, i.e. giving aid and comfort to the enemy or treason. What's actually going on? Simple. Henry's putting some extra requisitions so that way they can give some basic medical necessities to a local nurse who's running a clinic that helps save lives of newborn infants. And the problem for Frank and Margaret? Apparently the clinic is no for the 38th parallel. And this clinic is not giving aid and comfort to them. In fact, medical personnel are supposed to give medical aid to the enemy. If I remember correctly, it's against the Geneva Conventions to deny enemy soldiers, enemy personnel medical treatment. Now, you're supposed to take them prisoner afterwards, if I remember correctly. But, giving aid and comfort to the enemy in terms of medical stuff is allowed. It's just, you generally should probably keep them prisoner. But regardless, Frank should understand what it means to be a doctor. But then again, this is Frank after all. Anyhow, do you know how they resolve it? Well, they get Nurse Craggy to show up. That's the nurse to testify. She brings one of her patients who is expecting, and as a visual demonstration of how the medical supplies that Henry has provided to them is helping them to save lives, to save the lives of newborns. And the panel decides, we're going to drop our charges if Frank will agree. Well, Frank doesn't want to agree until Hargett puts a note in front of him, basically saying that they're going to tell his wife that him and Margaret are having an affair. And that gets them both of them to agree not to do it. Of course, there's a bunch of other stuff going on, such as Frank and Margaret putting Hawkeye and Trapper under house arrest in order to prevent them from, putting evidence forward in favor of Henry, which actually, according to the MASH wiki, is against the military code of conduct, because false arrest and impeding an investigation. And again, Frank would not make a good commander. I mean, he's literally having the rocks painted white, which is against air code regulations. Margaret points out to him that, no, he can't technically do that, so what does Frank do? Just paint the top half, so that way it can be turned over every night. And this is not the only time Frank will do it. We'll see Frank having the rocks painted white again in the future. But there's this one line right before Frank has Hawkeye and Trapper arrested, where Frank says they'll soon have a real man in charge, and Hawkeye and Trapper go to congratulate Margaret. Now, that's played off as a joke, but the thing is, Margaret would be a better CEO than Frank ever could. Even her right now, where she hasn't really grown into her compassionate side yet, where she hasn't had really any good role models, she's already going to be a better leader than Frank. It's demonstrated in this episode where she knows that they can't paint the rocks white. She knows it's against the regulations because of air raid safety. And so while that line was intended to be a joke, it does show some truth. Hawkeye and Trapper recognizes that Margaret would be a better leader, even though they're intending to insult Frank. But the thing is, they're insulting Frank because it's true. Frank is not a good leader. They go AWOL on him to save Henry because they know he's going to be a bad commander. While Frank tries to make that look bad on Henry, the thing is, he was in active command at the time of the 477. It's going to be bad on him. He's not a good commander. He does not inspire loyalty in his men. He does not inspire confidence. The fact that Klinger's trying to get out would probably double under Frank because Frank is a bad commander, a bad leader. He does not exhibit any leadership qualities. But we'll see that in the episode, the Novocaine Mutiny, when we get to that, though. We got a bit to go. I think that might be after Corner Part Rise. But in the meantime, I would like to hear your thoughts on the episode The Trial of Henry Blake in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the force be with you always.